Namaskar, welcome to PK's classes. Today we will study the classification of antimalarial drugs. So you can refer to our earlier classes on malaria, the life cycle of malarial parasite, the resistance to antimalarial drugs, and the links to all these previous classes are attached in this video. So just in brief, the life cycle consists of two parts, the sexual life cycle and the asexual life cycle. And the sexual life cycle occurs in the female Anopheles mosquito, and the asexual life cycle occurs in the human being. So there are two hosts, one is the female Anopheles mosquito and the second is the human being. And when a mosquito bites, it actually releases sporozoids which attack the liver. It goes through the blood circulation and attacks the liver, and in the liver it is converted to merozoids which are released, and those again released into the blood circulation, and these merozoids can attack the RBC or red blood cells. So we have the stage inside the RBC is erythrocytic stage, and before that in the liver, that is the pre-erythrocytic stage. And in some cases what happens, the merozoids again infect the liver and remain there as hypnozoids, and they are released after an interval. They remain dormant there, and in future they are again released as merozoids. So that is exoerythrocytic stage. So the malarial parasite is called Plasmodium, 4 species: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malari, and the most two common are the Plasmodium vivax and the Plasmodium falciparum. And in the human being there are 3 stages: pre-erythrocytic, erythrocytic and exoerythrocytic. And this exoerythrocytic stage is absent in Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium malari, and in Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale, the pre-erythrocytic stage and erythrocytic stage, 2 stages are there. And when a mosquito bites, it also takes the blood in which the gametocytes are there. So in the blood, again some of the merozoids are converted to gametocytes, male and female gametocytes, which are taken up by the mosquito, and in the mosquito gut they are combined to form the zygote, which later is converted to ookinete, then to oocyst, and finally the oocyst bursts to release the sporozoids, and then the sporozoids through another mosquito bite to a new person are entered into the blood circulation of the person to which the mosquito bites. So again in this erythrocytes there is 4 stages mainly: the ring stage, the early trophozoite stage, late trophozoite stage, and finally the seasoned stage, where the seasoned bursts to release the merozoids. Similarly in the liver also there is seasoned which bursts to release the merozoids. And so the seasons can be targeted. So we can have blood seasonticide and we can have the tissue seasonticide, and we can directly kill these merozoids. So we can inhibit the link between these pre-erythrocytic stage and erythrocytic stage. So we call them as chemoprophylactics because they can prevent. Okay, and we can also kill the gametocytes, so gametocidal, and we can also kill these sporozoids, so sporonticides also they can be there. So one blood sygioticide, two tissue sygioticide, three the chemoprophylactics, four the gametocides, and five the sporonticides. We can have 5 group of drugs, and mainly we can have 5 group of drugs, and recently some new drugs are also developed which have some novel targets. So the blood sygionticides can again be slow acting and low efficacious drugs, and fast acting and high efficacious drugs. Among the fast acting and high efficacious drugs, we have 4-aminoquinolines and aryl amino alcohols, which act on late trophozoite and stringent stage, and the artemisinin drugs, the peroxides, they act on the signating stage and early trophozoite stage. Then the slow acting low efficacious drugs, they can be the antibiotics, antimicrobials, or the folate synthesis inhibitors. And then we can have tissue sygionticides. The tissue sygionticides, the primary tissue sygionticides mainly act on the pre-erythrocytic stage, and they again include the folate synthesis inhibitors, whereas the secondary tissue sygionticides, they act on the exoerythrocytic stage, and they include the 8-aminoquinolines. So the classification now in detail. Blood sygionticides, they act on the erythrocytic forms of the Plasmodium used to treat acute attack, and they can be 2 types: fast acting high efficacy blood sygionticides or slow acting low efficacy blood sygionticides. So first, the fast acting high efficacy blood sygionticides, they include drugs which act on signating stage and early trophosis stage, the initial 2 stages we can see. So this is the signating stage, then the early trophozoite stage, then the late trophozoite stage, then the final the scission stage. These 2 stages are targeted by some drugs. These 2 stages are targeted by some drugs. So act on signating stage and early trophozoite stage, artemisinin derivatives. And artemisinin derivatives can again be divided into 2 types: water soluble, oil soluble. Water soluble, artesunate, artelinate. Artesunate or artesunic acid, artelinate or artelinic acid. Then oil soluble artemisinin derivatives. Artemisinin is a product from your Chinese plant Artemisia annua, and the oil soluble derivatives are artemether and arteether. Then the second group of blood sygionticides, fast acting high efficacy blood sygionticides, act on late trophozoite and stringent stage. They include 4-aminoquinolines like chloroquine, amodiaquine, piperaquine, phenanthrins like quinine, and quinoline methanols like mefloquine, and phenanthrin methanols like halofentrin, lumefentrin. And this B, C, D, these 3 group of drugs can be made 1 group. Okay, aryl amino alcohols. Then the 5th group is the naphthoquinone, in which includes atovaquone. Then benzonaphthyridine derivatives like pyronaridine. Then acridins, these are obsolete drugs now because of their toxicity, mepacrine and quinacrine. Then we will go to the second group of blood sygionticides, that is slow acting low efficacy blood sygionticides, which includes the biguanides like proguanil, diaminopyrimidines like pyrimethamine, sulfonamides like sulfadoxine. This is a long acting sulfonamide. Then sulfones like dapsone, antibiotics like tetracycline, doxycycline, and clindamycin. So this is all about our blood sygionticides. Then the tissue sygionticides, which are used for radical cure, and they can be either primary or secondary. Primary tissue sygionticides act on the pre-erythrocytic stage of the Plasmodium falciparum only, and drugs include proguanil and pyrimethamine. Secondary tissue-sites, they act on the exoerythrocytic stage of Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ovale, because this stage is absent in the Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium malariae. And the drugs include 8 aminoquinolines like primaquine, hulaquine, tafenoquine, etaquine, etc. Then the third group of drugs, the gametocides, which include primaquine, chloroquine, quinine, and a new group of drug that is spiroindolones. So primaquine is effective against all 4 species of Plasmodium. They are gametocidal in all 4 species of Plasmodium, whereas chloroquine and quinine are effective for all species except Plasmodium falciparum, and spiroindolones are effective against Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium falciparum as per the recent studies. Then sporontocides, which are effective against the sporozoites which remain in the blood and can have the ability to kill the sporozoites, and they include pyrimethamine and proguanil. Then the chemoprophylactics, which actually kill the merozoites and inhibit the link between the pre-erythrocytic stage and the erythrocytic stage, and they include chloroquine, mefloquine, proguanil, doxycycline, clindamycin, all these drugs. And new group of drugs. One is albetiazolium, which inhibits the synthesis of phosphatidylcholine, which is the essential lipid of the lipid component of the cell membrane, so that inhibit the cell membrane synthesis, albetiazolium. And recent 2 Chinese drugs, febrifusin is a product of the Chinese herb, and its derivative halofuginone. They inhibit the tRNA and inhibit the protein synthesis, in addition to inhibiting formation of hemazoin, and also can have some nitrosative stress action. So these are all antimalarial drugs, and this is the classification of antimalarial drugs. Thank you.